Alright guys, welcome to the Blue February Finals. My name is Counterfeit, joined by dealers today to bring you the top 8 teams from the month of February, going head to head for that $500 prize.
Yes, Counterfeit, and we are slowly getting our teams ready to get onto the stream, guys. My name is Deedless, joined by Counterfeit. Now, Counterfeit, which matchup are you looking forward to the most? And who do you think will go all the way to the grand final?
Well, let's look at that bracket and see who we've got today. So, yeah, we've got some strong matchups. We've been talking about Roxas a lot recently. They've kind of had a bit of a fall from grace, but at least back in February, which these monthly finals are based on, not necessarily what's happened in the last few weeks where Roxas have really struggled, but just back in February, they were still the dominant team, and that's why they're coming in as our #1 seed. Up against 1-2-3 No Mercy, I think that Roxas at least have got a pretty good run to the semi-finals. The Bluest allies, I think the most likely to potentially prevent them from getting to the grand finals themselves.
Yeah, certainly could do so, but first they have to go through Encrypted, and down in the bottom half of our bracket, it is going to be Gamuso versus #1 in the first quarterfinal, and below them it's going to be Re-Evolutions versus Frankensteins. Now Frankenstein coming from Iraq, you have Re-Evolutions from Japan, #1 from Iraq, and Gamuso from the United States of America.
So, as I said, there's a $500 prize pool on the line here for whichever team comes all the way to the grand finals, with $350 going to first place, $150 to second, and ESL Camo for first, second, and third place. So high stakes competition. We will be getting our first game started in just a second, but if you guys would like to try and sneak in a community game before we get properly started today, we'll do our best.
Peter, we actually do have a pass key for our first game.
Well, bamboozled, I guess we'll just have to attend to business. So, Doodless, I believe this is going to be the Re-Evolution squad versus Frankenstein. Our first match, which should be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I definitely think it will be quite a matchup. Now, Re-Evolutions, they are seated fairly low here in today's competition because back in February they weren't doing so well for themselves. They're well, okay, I actually can't see how well they did in February, but just to give you guys, well, a pointer, here in March they have placed the highest that they have placed was the third, placed in the top 3, and the lowest was top 7. So, kinda, you have an idea right there.
We'll have to see how they do coming into this first game. Certainly, as I said, the Re-Evolution squad probably favoured to take this much further in the tournament, but we shall see. We live to be surprised. So guys, stay tuned. We will be back in just a few minutes time once all the players are ready to kick off our first round of ESL competition as the teams struggle and strive to get through the bracket. The big prizes await in the grand finals. Welcome back, one and all. Our monthly finals begins here as the Re-Evolution squad take on Frankenstein. Re-Evolutions representing Japan, the Frankenstein squad representing Iraq. Let's see what they have got for us.
It is a battle of the underdogs right here, Counterfeit, if we are to believe the standings. Re-Evolutions versus Frankenstein. Now, Frankenstein, I'm pretty sure that they won the Blue December finals. And now, in January, they got second place. So these guys, they are definitely known to go a long way here in these tournaments. The only one who can really stop them would be number one, seeded as the 6th seed here in today's competition.
I think for Re-Evolutions, particularly lucky to be on this side of the bracket as the number 7 seed. It means the team that they have lost to most recently, Roxas, will be a long way away, but it's cold comfort, yes, when Frankenstein were the team to beat out Roxas in the previous monthly finals, so quite a task ahead of the Japanese team.
There certainly is. Now Frankenstein, they do have a 4 kill lead here against Re-Evolution, and Re-Evolutions, they are representing Japan, and well, it would be quite a shame to only have or to have no Japanese squads in today's grand final, but for now, Frankenstein, they are looking like they want to have at least one representative of Iraq in there.
A very brutal fighting to start us off today. The Iraqi team are remaining ahead for now, thanks in large part to the performance of Revenge, who's more than happy to try and post grenades to the Japanese squad through there. Will fall victim to Kyo, though, as the Re-Evolutions team look to try and re-establish their presence on the inside of the site.
All these snipers coming in here hot for Frankenstein, finding them kills, Counterfeit.
Abaco, we've seen him more than a few times around the place of Frankenstein squad, looking strong as they go up face to face once more. Grenades just flying absolutely everywhere. Let's bring the map and have a look. It's only the Frankenstein squad. Oh no, I tell a lie actually. Frankenstein will have to deal with Sekai, who I think is there as on anti-sniper duty, but blows up absolutely everyone along the way.
But it really does feel like Frankenstein, they have so much control over this map right now. All the areas are more or less controlled by Frankenstein, and they are just simply by now spawn killing Re-Evolutions, not giving them a chance to get back up. And realistically, this game looks to be over already, just because Frankenstein, they are so fast, they cut down Re-Evolutions whenever they come back up, and Re-Evolutions, it's looking like they just can't get back up after being cut down.
That's real impressive stuff from Frankenstein. Coming into this one as number 2 seed, and I think very much earning that place. We mentioned before the saga of Roxas. Again, to reiterate, Frankenstein, they are the team that have successfully put Roxas in the ground and really established themselves back in our previous finals. They did lose out to number 1 ultimately in the January finals, so we'll have to see how they do here. Certainly, they're setting themselves up for success in this first game.
Well, Frankenstein, their rivals are number 1, and well, they can potentially meet number 1 here in our semi-finals, so it's probably only going to be one of these two giants that will get all the way to the grand final. Let's wait and see. For now, Frankenstein, they still have to take down Re-Evolutions in game number 2. As Frankenstein, they are about to just hit that 50 kill mark. One more will mark the spot. And there we go. Revenge gets the kill onto Sean G. Now that means Frankenstein, they have a 1-game lead.
Alright guys, so we'll be very swiftly looking to get back into our next encounter between Frankenstein and Re-Evolutions. We'll be getting through things pretty quick today, hopefully. So don't go anywhere and we shall return. Though, of course, we need to acknowledge Revenge, very, very strong performance in that game, but also Roger and Noctis both doing incredible stuff for the Frankenstein squad.
Certainly both these guys, they are doing quite well kind of it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do in game number 2.
Alright guys, we'll see you in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, one and all. It's time once again to visit the Re-Evolutions and Frankenstein squads as they clash head-to-head in the quarterfinals to see who'll go on to the semis and face off against the winner of the Gamuzo and #1 quarterfinal.
And Frankenstein with their 1-game lead, and considering how they used their sniper rifles in game number 1, are looking like the clear favorites here on our second destination, Scramble, where sniper rifles obviously are the go-to choice.
To be fair though, as well as those snipers, we are still seeing a lot of the ever-present assault class. The players just, well at least some of them, extremely good at landing those grenades across and driving the snipers out of the normally safe positions.
That is true, kind of fit, and well, the Cog Vs can be very effective if you are just pushing towards the sniper as well. And well, kind of it now for Frankenstein coming in with the bombers and deploying them will mean that these snipers are gonna have to pull inside to get away from trouble, and that can allow Frankenstein to gain some ground.
This second game is seeming a lot more even between the two. I think Re-Evolution's just having a little bit of a reshuffle of things, or maybe it's just the map that they've got the better handle on. In the lead for the time being, of course, the grenades will be coming flying in as the Re-Evolution squad as a whole seek shelter inside this hangar. We have to know Frankenstein are coming. Roger manages to punch through. One kill there to even things up with Noxus as well.
Ooh, Noxus will find a kill onto Sanji. Noxus will also find a kill onto Malfoy, and Roger finds a kill as well. And Frankenstein starting to run away with things, but Sanji! Big grenade right there. Actually, 2 big grenades. Finding 3 members with 2 grenades.
Yeah, that was craziness. And now we're back to dead parity. Emphasis on the dead between Frankenstein and Re-Evolutions. The first 2 minutes have elapsed, and for all the bullets and all the grenades, we are no closer to finding ourselves winners. Roger doing some pretty brave back to front fighting against the squad, as we're actually seeing, yeah, the trading going up until that point extremely even. But it's crazy to think that even after all of this, the team scores are staying almost entirely locked neck to neck.
Totally even. Only 1 kill separating Re-Evolutions and Frankenstein, and it just disappears right here with them finding even more kills. 4 minutes, 10 seconds left to go. The game is far from over, kind of it, and it's very, very close. Let's check in with the scoreboard. I want to see who's the top fragger from Re-Evolutions. Sean G right here, carrying the load with 13 kills. This guy is the guy that Frankenstein, they need to stop.
Yeah, doing some real impressive work, whereas Noctis and Roger on the side of the Frankenstein first will be putting in a shift. Still though, as we go all the way through this game, which just, it's crazy how close this has been, especially given how dominant Frankenstein looked in the first encounter.
At Frankenstein, they certainly were the strongest team, but with Shanji putting in so much work for Re-Evolutions, they are keeping up with Frankenstein. But it's not a very sustainable solution. It's not something that you want to see continue if Re-Evolutions they are to go to a third game. Because you can never trust on just a single guy. You need to spread the load.
Well, Malfoy and the rest of the Re-Evolution squad trying to step up for Japan here, as it's looking like the Re-Evolutions team might be able to start extending that lead. Shanji, who I believe is the team captain, putting in a really strong performance. It's still not over and done with yet though. One good team fight could turn this back in Frankenstein's way, and a well-placed grenade, it could be the start of that.
Well, also for Shanji, if he is able to find some more kills, then suddenly this game is over. Shanji right here, 18 kills for Confit. He is finding so many kills, and he has put Frankenstein's behind in this game, and Re-Evolutions over the 40 kill mark.
Shanji has stolen away. Oh, wait a second. Getting taken out there by well-placed grenade from Roger. Narrows that gap just a little bit. Could we see the Iraqi team steal this game back and go straight to the quarters? Bombing run takes that one. Revenge gets another. But the return kills from Re-Evolutions, they only need to keep things even to win out this game by default.
Yeah, they just need to trade kills positively in their favor. There's no reason to actually, well, find more kills. Just as long as you trade 1 for 1, 2 for 2, 3 for 3, then it is fine. Frankenstein right now are very, very close to falling here in game number 2. 3 more kills for Re-Evolutions. Make that to Shanji finds his 21st kill. He is so strong here in this game.
Yeah, they've done an incredible job so far. I mean, ultimately, yeah, they've taken a lot of deaths as well, but they've just accelerated the game so much for the Japanese squad. One last chance, but that chance is gone, and we will be seeing that third game between Frankenstein and Re-Evolutions before we are done.
And that is going to be played on overtime. So suddenly a map that is not as open as construction site and scramble. But snipers might not be the optimal weapon to go for in game number 3.
So guys, stay tuned, we will be back soon. In answer to questions, Seth Rollins, I believe the mapping team have been mostly involved with the Battle Royale mode for a while. I think they're probably nearly done, at least on the mapping side of things, so hopefully we'll get to see some new maps relatively soon, but at least we get to see our newest map, Overtime, coming up next. So guys, we'll catch you in a few minutes' time. Alright guys, welcome back. Our third game, our decider between Frankenstein from Iraq and the Re-Evolution squad from Japan is here. And it's about time, Daedalus. It's about overtime.
It certainly is. And now we're gonna see if Frankenstein or Re-Evolutions will go all the way to the semi-final. Which team it's going to be? Frankenstein, I must say, are the clear favorites. Obviously, they have so much experience playing in the finals. They have been in the last 2 grand finals. So it would be weird not to see them participate in the grand final today.
Certainly, it seems to be all changed recently with so many of these monthly finals in play that we're really getting to see the teams bring out their absolute best. And honestly, I just hope that we continue to be surprised that Shanji will deliver a surprise from the skies.
Shanji is the guy to look out for here in this game. He's going to make it or break it for his team. Obviously, when you saw the last game, he took what, like 24 kills. And right now, he's the top fragger with 6 kills on a team that where the second, this guy with the second most kills is what, like 1 kill? So Frankenstein, they want to put the lid onto Shanji, and then they can actually win this game.
Hey there, Sharif over on Mob Crush. Thanks for dropping by the stream. We are just getting it through our quarterfinal stage today, so plenty more MC5 action before we are done. A very fiercely competitive quarterfinal between Frankenstein and the Re-Evolutions team. Honestly, it still feels like it's anyone's game. It looked so one-sided that first game, but since then, everything has changed.
It certainly has counterfeit. Here in this game, however, things are looking very, very even between these two teams. 18 and 18. The score is, and right here, Roger will find a kill on to Masu. One more will come from Noctis. Frankenstein are getting a little bit of a lead, but it's not anything to write home about. Not yet, with 4 minutes and 45 seconds left to go.
Revenge charging in like a mad bull. Able to get through, but wah! Shanji, the Shanji special, the triple kill with a grenade, happens all over again to change everything back to even.
Shanji is still the guy to look out for here in this game. Take a look at the scoreboard, kind of. We need to see what the rest of the members on Re-Evolutions are doing. Right now, Shanji's rocking a 12 kill, 11 deaths scoreline. So he is being focused a lot by Frankenstein, the second top ranker on the side of Re-Evolutions. 5 kills. So Frankenstein, they recognize that the rest of the Re-Evolutions members, well, they aren't exactly a problem, so might as well just deal with Shanji.
I don't know though, that seems like a little tall task as we come to the halfway mark in this game. It's dead even between the two, and this is what we've been experiencing in the game previous as well. It was so even for such a long time that it could be about to turn firmly into Frankenstein's favor. They've got that 4-kill lead. A lot of that thanks to Roger and Avicol, who's been doing some real nice work in this game.
Definitely have been doing quite well for themselves. Right here, Avicol looking to win this duel. Slides in, actually trying to go for the style points as well, but will lose out and will go down. 3 minutes and 10 seconds left to go, and the game is even counterfeit. There's no kills separating these two teams.
Which is just crazy to think about. Re-Evolutions would be an incredible underdog story for them to come through and manage it here. Certainly, yeah, we assumed based on the last December finals that Frankenstein were the ones to now occupy the top of the heap. But however this game turns out, we have shown that, yeah, we can still get surprised in these tournaments, and the Kingslayers can become slain themselves.
Certainly can, but as I said, Frankenstein, they have been in the last 2 grand finals, so not seeing them there today would be quite weird. For now, Re-Evolutions, they're ahead by 1 kill, so things could change up between these two teams.
Roger apparently is Mehmet, according to Taco Gaming. Ah, well, thanks for the intel. Let's see if we can find our way to Masuo again once they respawn. Let's see there. What's that icon? Can't tell. They're too busy being dead. There we go. 12-6, the Re-Evolution squad, the top scorer, does get taken out by Abacol in the close quarters. That's put Frankenstein in the lead. Crispy picks up another. Abacol dancing through the grenades. One more kill's going to do it for Frankenstein. Will they find it? Malfoy, the one to get one. Let's switch back across to see. Shanji has got that grenade. They're cooking it. They're chucking it down the stairs. Just 2 more kills will put them over the edge. But it's Roger who takes out Masuo. And Frankenstein, they will advance.
It was a nice performance from Shanji. Once again, 19 kills, but 18 deaths as well. Not doing as well in game number 2, but an honorable mention has to go to Shanji just because he put up such a performance for his team.
A real nice work in that game, and honestly, I don't feel like Re-Evolutions have got anything to be ashamed of. They were a heartbeat away from going to the semi-finals, and they've shown the heirs apparent to the Roxas throne, Frankenstein, that they've got to still pay attention to not just Roxas, but all the other top teams playing here today. So guys, while we wait for our next ESL match to get ready, which may well be a semi-final, then please do make your way across to our custom game. So we're just going to load that up in a second. The pass key will be ESL 123. If we go for a free-for-all, Daedalus, I'd like you to choose which destination.
Well, let's go for rooftops.
Alright, alright, alright. So guys, if you'd like to see some rooftop action, then use that passkey ESL 123. The lobby is going up in just a few seconds time. We do play under the closest approximation we can get of the ESL rules, which is tier 7 and below weapons, tier 3 and below armor. And here is the lobby. There will be a global chat invite and of course the passkey in the bottom right of the screen. Get you into the game as well. I can see some of the guys turning up in the chat there. So I imagine yes. I don't know. I think we're seeing Frankenstein members showing up there rather than the Re-Evolution squad. Of course, you know, given that their tenure in the tournament is over, they may well have gone out to drown their sorrows.
Drown their sorrows, Peter? That's that seems very, well, what do I know?
I don't know. I feel like you're seeing that as a darker utterance than it was.
Yeah, I know that you didn't mean anything with it, but it just seems so dark to have to drown your sorrows.
Oh man, we're proper edgy here on the MC5 broadcast. But we've got our players. We're ready to go to break. So, guys, have fun on stream. You can, of course, join in while the game is running, but we shall return in 7 minutes or less. Welcome back, everyone, and let's have a look. It's Elvis. I always knew Elvis wasn't dead. Elvis made other people dead instead. You're right. I have to admit, that wasn't a bad line.
It really was. Hey Peter, the worst lines come when you're tired, and I guess you might be a bit tired, Confit. So why not go for a battle royale so you can wake up a bit?
Well, let's see if you guys want to come and join in, and then queue in for the Battle Royale right now. You might still sneak into this one. How I said, can't they ban knifing in ESL? I think you kind of, well, I don't think that's possible, at least not currently, though. I have talked to Radu from Gameloft about the possibility of including more mutators in the game, so kind of special rules you can apply for, for instance, things like pistols only. I imagine not being able to use melee could be one of those as well.
Yeah.
So we've got our friendos here. Throw up a yellow if you're from the stream. Hopefully we've got 1 or 2 people. And we'll get on with the shootings.
So Peter, I know, oh wait, I think we have a, oh, we're just waiting for the codes. Alright, we're gonna have a code up soon, guys, so you don't have to watch Peter play horrendous MC5.
I think you mean horrendable.
Well, certainly honorable, but probably not good MC5.
Oh, I think someone spawned in literally right next to us. Fortunately, I've got my security blanket that is the red. Let's start shooting people in the face. Hoorah! Where are ya? Where are ya? Oh, fight yeah, I swear on me mum.
Oh, we do have a pass, Peter, so I think you're unfortunately gonna have to jump out of the game even though you just got your favorite gun.
Oh, cruel fate.
Your 2 favorite guns, the Bosk and the Red.
Well, 100% kill rate. I never died. I never will. I'm immortal. These teams fighting for their own slice of immortality. So I believe we'll be seeing the Frankenstein against... Ooh, who's it against?
Number 1.
Number 1?
Number 1.
Oh, guys, don't go anywhere. We shall be getting into lobby in hopefully just a second. Let's hope that pass key is live. Let's see. It is! Okay, so we'll be jumping into that pre-game lobby in just a second, so our semi-finals will begin, and we shall find out who our first finalists will be by the end of this series.
Yeah, whoever wins this best of 3 will go all the way to the grand final, and will then have the opportunity to win the lion's share of $500. And now counterfeit, we have 2 teams from Iraq here in this semi-final.
Yeah, honestly, it's a pretty good showing from the Iraqi teams, because it's tough enough to get into the top 8 to even make it to these monthly finals, but to have multiple representatives, maybe we need to start adding Iraq to our list of MC5 countries that are very successful. Maybe we should have been doing that already, honestly.
Yeah, well, that is a good point, Counterfeit, and well, number 1 and Frankenstein certainly showing that Iraq, they know how to play MC5 too.
Alright guys, so once the players are ready to go, we shall return, but for now, stick with us and our semi-final will continue in just a few moments' time. Welcome back one and all. Our semi-finals officially begins right here and now as Re-Evolutions go up against Frankenstein. We shall see who is the superior team from Iraq. Certainly, Frankenstein, coming as our number 2 seed today, are favoured. But at this point, as we've seen from our previous round, it's anybody's tournament. But only one can go forward from these semis, each of these semis, to claim their grand final spot.
Ooh, Confit, you might have to change the names on our overlay because it still says Re-Evolutions. Guys, obviously, what Counterfeit forgets to mention here, or fails to mention, rather, here in this matchup, is that it is a rematch of last week's grand final. The last monthly finals grand final. Frankenstein, they lost 3-0 against number 1 in the January 2019 finals. And number 1, well, once again, are looking like the stronger team between these two teams, as they are coming in with a 7-kill lead already.
Yeah, looking very strong in this opening game, though of course we've learned to be wary of calling this series a little bit, well, based on the first game performance, but certainly it's where you want to be if you're GG and the other members of the number 1 team. GG down to 1% health, somehow still surviving and going back in to take another kill as well. Number 1, they do not seem to appreciate the gravity of their situation, but they will not be held down by that self-same force, taking flight in our first semi-final game.
Number 1 Counterfeit, they're looking so strong right now. Check in with the scoreboard. I need to see who's putting in the work. Number 1, are they sharing it evenly? It seems like they are. Jiggy and both guys with 6 kills, but you also have Saras with 4. And then for Frankenstein, it does feel like they aren't really finding that many kills. Right now, behind by 13 kills. That is unusual even for MC5 standards.
Let's see, is there any slice of hope, slice of life for the Frankenstein team? Roger, their top scorer at the moment, but yeah, the number 1 team absolutely eclipsing Frankenstein. And honestly, I'm really impressed. Number 1 came in as our number 7 seed today. And while Re-Evolutions are, sorry, our number 6 seed, while our number 7 seed, the Re-Evolution squad gave Frankenstein a run for their money. Number 1, the number 6 seed, looked to be giving Frankenstein a running over.
Well, Frankenstein, they're gonna have to come back as a stronger monster in game number 2 right now. This game, I think it's fair to say, is over, is done and dusted here at the museum, and we're gonna go to conversion for game number 2, where Frankenstein, they're gonna have to try and make their comeback and see if they can actually put up a better fight against number 1.
We've seen some very strong performance. Cyrus and GG. GG, one of the team captains of the number 1 squad. Of course, we've got team owner Bofon out on the field today, and I think Insanity, one of their members, not taking part. But honestly, with this current lineup, number 1 look unstoppable. So they're going to use their corridors to be able to control so much space. Frankenstein desperately trying to charge out and find anything at all. A good grenade toss, but good is not good enough.
Now, they get these kills too late, Counterfeit. Only 28. That's not enough. You want 50. You want to at least be even or close to being even against your opponents. But this was just a slaughter. There's nothing else to say.
Real impressive stuff from number 1. Cyrus gonna be the biggest sad maker for the Frankenstein team, with Gigi as well, we noted as a very strong performer in the early going. I think, Revenge did put out a decent performance for the Frankenstein side, but the rest of the squad were not able to keep up. Potentially just one more game before our grand finals, so stay tuned, guys. We shall return. Number 1 versus Frankenstein, round 2, after the break. Alright, alright, alright. We've got a little bit of time before our next encounter between number 1 and Frankenstein. So we're going to head out into the Battle Royale battlefield once more and find ourselves... Oh, Dealers, I feel like... I don't know if this is the thing, but... Is a tofu breakfast? Is that a thing?
I've no idea, mate. How would I know?
What are those? Well, I was thinking that, you know, if you want to be different from a chicken dinner, then a tofu breakfast is, you know, probably about as far as you could go.
Well, I have no clue, Peter. I honestly don't know.
What do people have for breakfast in Denmark?
Well, the same as people in England. Bread and cheese, or like oatmeal, or like yogurt.
Huh. But is there any sort of Danish particular speciality breakfast food? I know in France they've got quite a lot of different ones.
Nothing I can really think of. Traditional. Let me try.
Yeah. I mean, certainly, I know there's a lot of traditions in England that I'm probably not aware of. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's just France that has, like, all these... Not really traditional breakfast foods, but they've just got a variety of different things they eat for breakfast.
Well, Google doesn't really tell me anything.
Google, let us down. For shame. For shame. What? Hello, Purple Riser. Goodbye, Purple Riser.
You are so bloody, Peter.
Well, thanks.
It is not okay.
Well, we found ourselves the... Yep, we found ourselves a really terrible weapon, and thus we got immediately murdered.
Well, maybe you are just bad at aiming.
Well, I mean, that's true too.
Yeah. See, I don't lie.
Well,
I would never lie.
never?
Yeah, I have never lied in my life.
Huh. So do you sleep standing up?
Wait. No?
Don't worry, I'm just being silly. So,
yes.
guys, we're waiting on the number 1 of Frankenstein semi-final to continue. Hopefully, we shall have them shortly. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think Britain's really got, like, tradition. I guess porridge maybe would be...
You guys eat a hell of a lot of toast for breakfast. For some reason, and honestly, of all kinds of bread you can get, toast is like the worst.
Well, I mean, toast... I mean, the kind of bread you would toast, I guess it's because, like, it's something that tastes pretty good with kind of crappy bread. Like, I don't think it's intended to be, like, a kind of a high-end meal, but I think it's just common because you don't need good quality bread to end up with something that tastes okay.
What? Yeah, you do.
I'm sorry, we've been...
Why would you eat bread that doesn't taste good?
Well, you have, like, kind of bread that you put in a toaster, like, because you can't really taste it
Yeah,
so much.
and if you eat bread that tastes well, then you kind of enhance your experience.
I mean, that's probably true, but I don't know if it's true enough that people would bother to spend a lot of money on bread they were just planning on toasting.
I just don't, man. When I went to London and lived in a hostel for 5 days, I ate toast every single morning, and I've never hated toast as much in my life before.
Well, I mean, I don't. Well, it's. I mean, toast is really it's a food vector. Like, you know, I mean, you can eat just toast and butter by itself, or even just toast by itself, I suppose, if you want to. I mean, I've done that for a while when I was just trying to live very cheaply. But, I don't know, I think, like, you know, you can put things on toast and then, like, it becomes a lot better. But, I mean, were you just having toast by itself?
No, it's like toast and cheap cheese.
Well, I mean, if you can melt the cheese, I imagine, again, it probably, again, doesn't really matter as much whether or not it's good quality.
Peter, you live a very sad life. Let's just...
Oh man, I don't live a life at all. Okay, so let's call that one an ironic death, as I got killed by the same gun that I was bemoaning for being terrible before.
Hey man, I told you, it's not the gun, it's your aim.
Alright, one more, then I'll get you guys back on stream. Raoul, Hi, welcome back to the stream, you're back in bed. Well, as we said about before, we're working on the technology to be able to cast from the comfort of our own couches, then beds, and then one day from beyond the grave.
Wait, really?
Well, maybe.
Why would you want to so this is just a question. Why would you want to cast from beyond the grave? I'm just saying that you can't really use your pay when you're casting from beyond the grave.
Well, I mean, you know, you got family.
That's true. That's true. Leave a legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Why not, actually? Peter, you are completely right.
Nah,
my hat's off to you, good sir.
What kind of hat do you have?
I own a lot of beanies.
Ah. Oh, Achilles 707. Yes, the Battle Royale has been vastly improved from its first version. It's going to get improved again. I'm not privy to the specific details, but there's going to be some big things coming for the Battle Royale to make it, again, a lot better than it was before. So hopefully, you'll continue to enjoy it, and once the next version comes out, which won't be for a while, but once it does, you'll hopefully enjoy it even more. Sorry, so beanies. So what is it about beanies that you enjoy, Deedless?
They feel nice?
Huh. Interesting.
See, I haven't really put in a lot of thought behind why I'm wearing beanies.
Oh, well, it's self-reflection.
I just think they look good and they feel nice. Why do you wear clothes, Peter?
Well, because I would get in trouble, firstly, if I didn't.
I guess.
Secondly, I probably get cold. And thirdly...
So it's for survival.
Well, I think initially, yes.
Okay, well, I wear beanies for survival as well.
So I'm going to leave this game, because I think we've accidentally ended up in a game that's actually in progress. Sorry, so I was just checking to see if we had an update. Sorry, yes,
we do. Yeah, we just got us a new code.
Oh, we did.
So now I don't have to suffer through this very interesting interview by Peter.
Alright, well, in which case we shall waste no more time. Guys, make sure you're stocked up on delicious water or your beverage of choice, because our game 2 between number 1 and Frankenstein will be coming up in just a few moments' time. Should be hopefully another fantastic game to determine who's going to be going through to our grand finals. Deedless, you know, we've got that first game done. Number 1 have given us a pretty strong opener to the series. Do you reckons they're going to take it the whole 2-0?
Oh yeah, I definitely think that they're going to do that. They looked so strong in the first game. And I don't see a way that Frankenstein, they can make, well, a comeback if they put up the same performance as they did in game number 1. Now, to counterfeit, I would like to highlight one thing, that in the upper semi-final, it is Roxas and the Oblivious Allies fighting. So no matter the outcome of today's semi-finals, we're gonna have at least one Japanese squad and one squad from Iraq.
Yes, it's a cruel thing indeed for both the Japanese and Iraqi teams to be forced to knock out their country folk, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So guys, we will return in just a few moments time once all of number 1 and Frankenstein are ready to go at it once again, this time on conversion. We'll be back in just a few moments time. So semi-final game number 2. It's time, Deedless. You've called it for number 1, but Frankenstein, they still start with a clean slate coming into game number 2. If they can turn things around, they can be the team to go forward to represent Iraq in the grand finals. Number 1 certainly put on quite the show for us in game 1.
They certainly need to show things that we didn't see in game number 1, Frankenstein. That is, if they want to, well, move into the grand final, or at least have a shot at doing so. Because right now, they are down 1 game after being completely dominated in game number 1. And if they come in with the same performance, then they're just gonna fall to number 1 very, very easily. Number 1 for now, again coming in and showing that they are the stronger team.
GG, you remember from before, has performed extremely well for the squad. The powerful number 1 team certainly setting themselves up pretty well for success We are seeing some pretty decent performances from the Frankenstein team so far. Roger, Noctis, Sasha, all picking up a decent amount of kills, and while number one, they look confident coming into this one, it's not necessarily manifesting itself in huge numbers.
For now, number one and Frankenstein, they are even, and it kind of feels like, for Frankenstein at least, it would be a, or you can kind of, what I'm trying to say kind of is that it feels like we're watching Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the scene with the Black Knight where Frankenstein, they're trying to keep up with their opponents, but they're just losing limb after limb, and all they say is, this is merely but a flesh wound, and it's not really so far, because you want to have the lead, but they're not getting that.
Well, I get what you mean, Deedless, but Frankenstein, I don't know, they're doing a pretty good performance in this game too. I think it's too early to call them limbless hop-arounds quite as of yet. Let's see, who's putting in the numbers? It is Sasha from much earlier on, providing that fast support from long range with the BSW. 7-1 so far, outstripping pretty much everybody else in the game.
Yeah, definitely coming in and putting in the work, but I must say that for number one, I like their scores kind of. If you could please show the scoreboard, then everyone can see how it is just so streamlined. 4, 4, 4, 3, and 2. Everyone putting in the work, no one really impressing more than the other, which means that they do get a flat bottom line on the side of number one to work with. But it's not shiny, and they're not pulling themselves ahead because they don't have that one star player like you see on Frankenstein with Sasha.
Cryostyle, welcome to the stream over on Twitch. We're partway through our semi-finals to determine who will be going forward to compete for the $500 prize pool in our grand final today. Our Blue February finals, I guess we're probably about maybe half to 2/3 of the way through. But Frankenstein, pronounced dead on arrival, somehow still keep up their lead, which they've held for a good portion of this game now.
Well, they are certainly showing that they can go toe-to-toe with number one, something that I did not expect after seeing game number one. But the game is far from over with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left to go. And them only having a 3-kill lead. It is not yet a deal set in stone.
Not a done deal, but having 4 members for number one has, I think, been hurting them a little bit, but maybe I'll be made to eat those words just as quickly as number one equalize. Of course, if they win out here, they are going right to the finals. Frankenstein, it's do or die time for them, and while they've impressed a lot more in game 2, number one have shown us that so quickly everything can turn sour for Frankenstein.
Oh, whoa, that's 3 big kills and quick kills right there for Frankenstein. GG, however, will take down Roger. Sasha will get a kill onto GG in return. And Frankenstein, they're still holding on for dear life. They're not giving up. Sasha will find a kill onto Mario right there. And now with a 4-kill lead, Frankenstein, they are moving into the last stretch.
I'm so impressed by what we've seen from Sasha so far. Just absolutely relentless running down the number one players who are desperately trying to get away from them. Of course, in Team Deathmatch, you score the same amount of points for killing the weakest player on the team as for the strongest. So it makes sense. Stay away from the Frankenstein member who is tearing everybody up. But that just doesn't seem to be possible.
It certainly doesn't. Sasha is all over the place and finding a lot of kills. Now Avicor will find a kill onto Gigi, and Frankenstein, they get so close to the 50 kill mark. 4 more and this game is over.
Mario gonna go into close quarters, does take out Noctis, but Frankenstein just going even with number one when they are ahead means they inch ever closer to that finish line. Sasha continues to impress. Roger picking up a lot of kills as well, but over on the side of number one, GG has been doing extremely well, but I think without that 5th member contributing points, it's just not going to happen for number one.
And that last kill will come in there for Frankenstein. And the game and the series will now be equalized. We're getting treated today, kind of it, with all our games more or less going to free series. At least all the games that we have streamed have gone to free games.
Yeah, real impressive stuff. As I said, Sasha, the most impressive, but Gigi as well over there for number 1 definitely deserves recognition. We'll have to see how Game 3 plays out. Hopefully all of number 1 will be in attendance. Guys, let us know in the chat, who do you think deserves to go to the grand finals? We'll certainly have our own opinions, but we'll discuss those when we return in 7 minutes or less. Welcome back, everyone. It's time for game 3 of our semi-finals between number 1 and Frankenstein. Now, dealers, while you may have characterized Frankenstein as the ever-bleeding Black Knight, it seems like game 1 may have just been a flesh wound, as Frankenstein have done a great job of equalizing.
Yeah, kind of it. I must say that I said Frankenstein they were the Black Knight, but it seems like they are the rabbit protecting the Holy Grail, because right now, man, they look good in game number 2, and if they can keep it up, well, I think they might just get the Holy Grail and go into the grand final.
Yep, both the teams that make it through to the grand final are guaranteed at least $150. Of course, they want to take their first place prize of $350, but it all comes down to this last game of MC5. I mean, this is what it's all about. Taking a game that everyone can play for themselves at any time they please and turning it into a high tension activity where the stakes are massive for each of these teams.
It certainly is do or die time now for Frankenstein and number 1. This game will be deciding who's going to go into the grand final. And Frankenstein, this game will also decide whether or not they are a killer rabbit or if they are a Black Knight without any limbs.
Well, what you've got to say for that Black Knight was he sure didn't give up in the face of adversity. And Frankenstein will need to do the same. They're down 1 kill to 5, and number 1 are starting to build up a real head of steam. Of course, they'll be cashing in those bombing runs and maybe even some EMP strikes to make things only harder for Frankenstein from here on out.
Well, Frankenstein, they do have quite a task ahead of them. And it is not quite over yet, and it is certainly going to be over soon if they keep this up. Right now behind by 9 kills, they need to put in more of an effort if they are to win here against number 1.
Both on doing it ludicrously well so far. Does eventually get put down, but the damage being done, that was Bofon's first death in the game after 6 kills. There's so many great performances on the number 1 side of things. It's almost impossible to keep track of them all. But the bottom line here is that number 1 are rolling it right over Frankenstein, who are barely managing to get any points in for themselves.
I know what kind of it. This was the number 1 that we saw in game number 1. This was where they dominated, and Frankenstein, they looked lackluster, and we're seeing that once again. We're seeing Frankenstein just fall behind and not be able to put up a fight against number 1. And if things keep up, if Frankenstein, they can't change things within the next 10 kills, then this game is over, and it will be number 1 moving into the grand final.
That's looking at... Well, as they say, dealers, it's never darker than before the dawn. But for Frankenstein, they may not get to see any more days in the tournament, as... I mean, we're seeing some good trades here, but they are coming far too infrequently. Frankenstein needs to be trading... You know, if we're talking about 2-for-1s, 3-for-1s, those are the kind of trades Frankenstein needs to make to be making up the gap, as 3 kills do come in. Let's see... It's Roger picking up the lion's share of the kills at the moment, but we're going to need to see more. Noxus grabs one for themselves. Frankenstein might be starting to find their feet in this game, as at least they're on the same first digit with number 1 for a few moments more.
Number 1, they can't get comfortable or they will lose this game. Frankenstein at least are catching up. Taco, how can you have 0% health and still be alive?
Apparently Taco's rage extends beyond mere mortal concerns. But yep, I mean, that puts me in mind again, we were talking about the morph a couple of tournaments ago. He used to very commonly go down to 0% health. I presume it's maybe like 0.5% health, but it just doesn't show up. But yeah, it doesn't get much closer than that, but you know, 1% or 100%, you can still get that melee kill through, even if you will probably end up being killed immediately afterwards.
Certainly so, Counterfeit. Now, Frankenstein, behind by 10 kills, they were able to reduce the lead. It used to be 14, but they've reduced it too late, it feels like, because number one, so close to 40 kills and to ending out this series.
It's been a heroic effort from Frankenstein, but you know, I remember when we were at 30 and 20 for the two teams. It's barely gotten any closer for Frankenstein, and while given enough time, perhaps Frankenstein could manage to even out those scores. It's going to be this last section that decides everything. Real nice play from Noxus, hits 3 in a row, but Taco and the rest of the team, they're already so close. They steal 3 for themselves, and the finish line is never more in sight.
4 more kills. Make that fierce. Taco finds a kill onto Roger. Bofam, a kill onto Sasha. 2 more, Counterfeit.
Frankenstein, I think, well, I mean, at this point, they've got nothing to lose but the game, but that didn't last very long at all, as Taco finalizes number one's ticket to the grand finals.
And congratulations to number one. They will be the team moving in, as you said, to the grand final. And they're gonna have the chance to beat a Japanese squad, which will be Roxas, who won against the Oblivious Allies 2-0. It's looking like Roxas, they are pumped and ready to take down, or at least take on an opponent here in the grand final.
Taco definitely our top banana from that last game. Incredible 20 kills and just 10 deaths. Those are the kind of numbers number one are going to need to pull out in the grand finals if they want to become our champions today and take home those $350. Now, while the final gets set up, we'd love to have you guys back on stream once again. So if you use the passkey ESL123, then we'll have a lobby up and waiting for you guys in just a few moments time to come and play on stream and show us what you're made of. There we go. Passkey in the bottom right hand corner. We'll be of course tossing out global chat invites like they're candy. But get in here quick guys, because our finals could start at any moment. Ah, Taco, you're in the chat. That game, yeah, that looked like hard work. Taco Will, I don't know if you're listening to the stream directly, but if you are, perhaps, could you, what was it that led you to have such an amazing performance in that last game? Because that was pretty crazy. I think that's the best we've ever seen you play, Taco. So, was it playing against your country folks? Or was it the lure of the grand prize?
Peter, why do you always fanboy so hard over Taco?
Taco's the best! Taco number one! Oh boy, you should have been here for our stream earlier on. I found out who the person behind the Energy Esport account is, or at least one of them. And it turns out that he's friends with, oh gosh, what was the name of the player? I can't remember offhand. But, oh, Umari. They were big friends with Umari, so they were number one fanboying for them. And said they were going to start their own merchandise line. That was fun. Let's see. I think we might have enough to get started with. Let's throw out another chat invite. Okay, we're waiting confirmation on our grand final to be most likely Roxas versus number one, unless there's any kind of change at the last
Any shenanigans?
Shenanigans? That's the forbidden word.
How so? And why so?
If you have to ask, then I can't tell you. Oh, das ist verboten.
You don't speak German very well, mate.
How harsh! How harsh!
Well, it comes from someone who speaks German.
Oh man, what is it? What do I need to do to bring my German up to par?
Well, probably learn some German phrases and actually say it correctly.
I knew you were just gonna say do it correctly. Like, well, that's very helpful.
Ich weiß es nicht. Ich weiß es nicht. Ich kann nicht deine German lernen. I just said I can't learn, or I can't teach you German.
But why not?
Because, yeah, well... yeah. I have better things to do.
Well, Raul Dominguez is made of root beer. How would you say that in German?
Sorry, what?
Raul Dominguez is made of root beer, apparently.
Raul Domingo ist eine Rotbier?
Ah. Interesting. Well, I hope you're all made of root beer. So guys, let's see if we can find just one more body to come and join in. And then we'll get this one kicked off. I want to make sure we've got at least 2 on each team so we've got a good chance of the game continuing. In case anybody... Oh yes, Omar, we're just going to spectate this time. This time! Oh, hello. There we go. Excellent. It hurts me. We have the 3rd player join, and then the 2nd player leaves. Ay. Ay. Life is tough, man. Life is tough.
It is. Why is life tough, Peter? Tell me.
For the reasons I previously laid out. You know, you try to get one group of people in, and they're like, sure, we'll show up. And then they're like, okay, now I just need to get the other group of people in. Okay, we got 2 versus 2. We're gonna stop. Ah! So guys,
bamboozled.
Banana Doozles. Ali, hey there, if you need an ESL team, head across to the ESL Discord with the link in the YouTube chat, and you'll be able to go to the recruitment channel and find a team there. But for now, we'll catch you guys in a few minutes' time with hopefully our grand finals to determine our $350 winner. Welcome back, one and all. It's time for the grand finals. Number 1 versus Roxas. The ones who dethroned Roxas before Frankenstein have been disposed of by number 1. But can number 1 pull off the same feat against the number 1 seeded Roxas squad?
Well, Roxas, they have looked unstoppable in their matches. At least they have won every single match today. 2-0. But number 1, damn, when they won against Frankenstein, they were lit. They were on fire. And they looked like, well, tank busters, RPGs. Like the rabbit from the Monty Python and the Holy Grail. So, I'm just saying that these guys, they are on fire.
Well, the fire seeming to burn bright right now, as number 1 starting out this first Grand Finals game extremely strongly. Going up 9-3, even with a member having disconnected in the early going, which hopefully they'll come back later on. Roxas, they have barely managed to get off the ground at all. Ruse with 1. Zero, the only person with a positive KDA on the whole of the Roxas squad right now.
And I'm so surprised to see this kind of fit. Again, we know that Roxas, they have fallen far from grace, that they are lacking in terms of what they had in terms of power just 2-3 weeks ago. But still, it is Roxas. You can never really doubt them, but they are just getting it handed to them here in this game against number 1.
Of course, as you mentioned, the number 1 squad, they have lost a member. Hopefully they will be returning, but if Roxas can get up into close quarters and they don't take a grenade to the face, then maybe they can start leveraging that numbers advantage to get the trades across. GG takes themselves out with a grenade. Roxas are starting to catch up.
They are starting to close that lead quite a bit. Number 1 are having some connection issues as well, which might give Roxas a bit of a help here in this game. And now they actually do have the lead with 2 kills. Number 1, you might want to stop slacking and actually get going, because right now Roxas, they are, well, coming back against you.
They have got back Saras, the member of the Iraqi squad who disconnected early on, as GG hunts down and executes another kill. It's still very, very even. I think the strong start for number 1 is what's carried them this far, but it only matters what happens when that timer hits 0 or those kills hit 50 to see who will take the lead in our best of 5 final series.
4 kills in the lead for number 1. Roxas, they are at least putting up quite a fight now against number 1. But is it enough? We're gonna have to wait and see, because number 1, they are getting so awfully close to 50 kills. Time is also running out here in this match. And counterfeit, whoever wins this first game will obviously have the advantage going into the next, well, the following next 2. We're gonna have at least 2 more games after this one. And for Roxas, they're starting to fall quite far behind.
So we saw a little bit there as the fighting continues around Big Head. Tends to be the focal point for most of the aggression on the map. But as we saw from GG, while you've got good cover up there from bullets, you're a very much known quantity when it comes to having grenades delivered. GG tossed the grenade in from the side and tore everything up. Number 1, they look like now with their full 5-person roster, they're ready, willing, and able to lock down this last game as descends to both on tear into Roxas again.
Counterfeit, could you please show the scoreboard? I'd love to see Roxas right here take, well, perhaps for more than 1 second, because I can't see. I'm not that fast. But Roxas, look at their scores. They are negative all over the board. They have a few kills, but they have more deaths, and that's not exactly the kind of score that you want to have in a grand final. It will be concluded, and Roxas, they're gonna go down 1 game here in this best of 5 series against number 1. They're gonna have to step it up in game number 2.
Well, there we go. Number 1 going to take Frankenstein's legacy. Will Roxas be brought low once again? Certainly the first of those 3 tenuous, tremulous steps taken by number 1. $350 for the first place, $150 for second. It's all to play for, and we will return to carry on our grand final series in 7 minutes or less. Welcome back, everybody. Our grand finals continues. An impressive performance from game number 1, but there's still 2 more victories required from number 1 before they can claim that they are the best on iOS Blue.
Yeah, it is certainly not over yet, and Roxas, they put up quite a performance in game number 1 against number 1, but here on construction side, things can change, and number 1, they could be the most dominant team. Roxas, however, off to a great start with 2 quick kills.
They need to recover in this series. The fall of Roxas has certainly been quite dramatic, and of course, it's a testament to how ludicrously successful Roxas have been in the past, that the mere fact they're in this finals is, and they're a game down, is enough to justify the idea that they're not as dominant as they have been in the past.
Well, kind of it, you are certainly right. And with 6 minutes left to go, Roxas, they want to lift up their trophy once again. At least they have a 4-kill lead, whereas number 1, they only have 1 kill overall. Falling quite far behind here against Roxas, and that is not the performance that we saw from number 1 in game number 1.
Now, it seems like Roxas, the extremely experienced, have found a optimal strategy for the construction site. They're hanging around the outside with the fire support from afar. Now, GG trying to sneak up into the sniper line of Roxas, but boy, this is looking extremely one-sided. Maybe the confidence afforded to number 1 from that first game has come back to bite them.
It really is looking very one-sided here, with number 1 only finding that 1 kill still. Not exactly anything that they can brag about at all. But Counterfeit, they just found 2 more, and now things are starting to look a bit better for number 1. I say that, but Roxas, they get yet another kill.
Well, given how poorly the game started, I think any kind of progress at all is very much worthwhile for the number 1 squad. The Iraqi team gonna now be mixing things up in close quarters. GG misses that first shot, and of course, Kiri won't allow them to take another.
But number 1, they're very far behind Counterfeit, and well, we did say that they could take this grand final 3-0. I don't believe that they're going to be able to do that anymore because, well, just the way things are looking, Roxas, they are so far ahead. Number 1, really not able to put up a fight at all.
Well, it's, you know, we've lost faith before. Well, we'll see. Let's see, so who is going to be the leaders? Well, Descends at least has got that good KDA, that 1 kill, 0 deaths. Be able to back up Taco and get another. The gap, as wide as it has been, the chasm between the 2 teams. Number 1 are trying to build a bridge across, but of course Kiri is more than willing to blow it apart on a moment's notice.
And Kiri with 10 kills right there, and 2 deaths. Definitely being one of the big members here for Roxas, and one of the guys that are making sure that they are this far ahead. Now with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left to go, number 1, they have started to catch up to Roxas, but there's a long way to go still, and time is running out.
Descends, hunting around the outside again with a good KDA as Bofon grabs through 2 kills, will fall afoul of the ever deadly Kiri, who moisturizes everything that they see. But number 1, they've closed that gap between the 2 teams despite the disastrous start. They're still fighting, and somehow they are inching closer to equality.
Well, you definitely need to keep fighting, especially when you are in the grand final. That is the quality of these teams that get all the way. Now, only 4 kills. Make that 3. Number 1, this lead that Roxas they have, it's gone. And number 1, they're back. This is awesome, Counterfeit.
It's extremely impressive stuff from number one, and you're right, you know, we are seeing, I think, in these recent times, the arising of challenges that worthy to take the throne from Roxas. However this game turns out, number one have shown extreme levels of tenacity to carry on fighting, to go from 10 kills behind to be able to equalize against a team at the caliber of Roxas is honestly eye-watering.
It certainly is. And number one, they're now ahead. We doubted them. We said they couldn't get the 3-0, but wait, this game, it has turned on its head. And number one, they can still get this 3-0 because, well, they're looking to win this game right here after making quite a comeback.
Rusey and the rest of the Roxas team, they are very close behind with a minute and change left on the clock. We know how terribly terrifying the Roxas team can be. Both teams gearing up for that one big last fight that will swing game two one way or the other.
The teams, they are pulling apart. They don't want to clash. They don't want to make the mistake. And especially for Roxas, they don't want to give number one yet another win. But they have the pressure on them because they're behind. Number one, they find 2 kills. And now they make their 3 kills. And they make themselves get a 3-kill lead.
Yeah, number one saw Roxas trying to go round for a flank, managed to ambush them, and I think Gigi's about to do the same thing again, drops down right into the face of the snipers. Now this time, it's Roxas who come out ahead. The lead for number one might be insurmountable, but it's only 3 separate. Insanity dancing between the raindrops as Helios tries to pick up more kills. Taco gonna keep the pain train coming, but Zero and the rest of Roxas are so close to catching up.
Roxas, 5 kills. The game is over. And number one, they're gonna win with 1 kill. The time ran out. And Roxas, even though they came off to a good start, they couldn't finish out things. But Light is ahead in game number 3 if Roxas, they keep up this transformation.
Yeah, certainly a much better showing from Roxas in game 2. But we've learnt you do not count out number one. We've got the threat here of a full 3-0 sweep for Roxas. It's been very rough for them recently, and things seem to only be getting harder as the competition heats up. Don't go anywhere, we shall return. Game 3 of our grand finals coming up right after the break. Alright guys, welcome back. We are just waiting on our last game between Roxas and number 1. So while we do, please do come along and play on stream. Now, we might well have to jump out of this almost straight away when our next ESL match arrives, but we're gambling that we'll have enough time to at least get this game started.
Ooh, Peter, I did not know that you are a gambling man.
I feel like this is a running joke that doesn't have a punchline.
Well, that's a lot of things, or a lot of things that I say doesn't really have a punchline.
Ah. Well, oh my, welcome to the game. So it's a free-for-all on overtime. Let's see if we can find some people who want to play all the time.
Hey!
Well, I mean, I appreciate you reacting to it like it was a joke, as opposed to just a weak reference, but
Hey!
Ah, that's better. So, helping us out today on the ESL side of things is Pap and Aviator featured. So if you do catch those guys in the chat, do give them a yellow. Let's see if we keep looking out for some more players. Who will Omar play against? Roko's Gameplays Gaming. I guess theoretically you could watch the stream and you could tell your friends playing where someone was about 15 seconds ago. I don't know if it would be terrifically useful, just because, you know, you'd be acting on somewhat out of date information, which is also, you know, the point of view is changing quite fast as well. So I don't know. No one's really brought it up before, but I guess it's something to think about, whether or not if someone would gain a tactical advantage for doing so, and if it does, we might need to put a bit more of a delay on the stream.
Yeah, well, obviously we don't want anyone to get an advantage of watching the stream.
I'd like the only advantage to be that they get to hear our wonderful voices. I think we will be getting the passkey in a second, so if we don't get another player in for this free-for-all before we get to that passkey, we'll just have to leave off there for now and start up the third game. Now, deal this. I know the Danish people are known for their preternatural? I think I'm using the word wrong. Supernatural? Let's go with that. Supernatural powers. Flying
Sure.
and telling fortunes. Based on what we've seen from number 1, are your senses tingling that we might actually see a 3-0?
Yeah, I believe that even though Roxas, they had a good run in game number 2, and they kind of were able to do quite well in game number 1. Sorry, in the early stages of game number 2. I kind of still feel like number 1, when they play as a team and they play slow and methodical, then they are just the best team.
Let's see, so looking back in Roxas history, so the Blue March Cup, last weekly tournament they played in, they did win out, beating out X's friends Sol and the Re-Evolution squad, but yeah, the past 2 monthly finals, they lost out to Frankenstein, they lost out to number 1 in the Blue January finals. I don't know, I have to think at some point, you know, given that we still know Roxas are a really good team, they're going to find a way to reset, but I'd also find it pretty hard to imagine that Roxas turned this whole series around.
Yeah, it would be quite the turnaround, but well, everything can happen. It is MC5, and if there is one game where things like this happens, well, then it is MC5.
I'll keep our eyes out. So for now, guys, if you use the passkey ESL123, or there may still be a global chat invite hanging around, we're going to consult our admins about the next upcoming ESL game. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to leave that transition in there. Then we'll be back and hopefully have a grand finals decider game for you. Alright guys, welcome back. So, let's have a look and see. It's Vol May. Boy, oh boy. The Vol players, they played in our tournament before, now they're carrying on playing. Honestly, I think you can tell why the Victory Lords team are so successful. Their players just play MC5 all live long day.
Well, that is true kind of it. If you play games a lot, then you are bound to become good at the game. However, I must say that one of my great philosophies in life is that in order to become good at something, it's obviously good to play it a lot, but you know the saying, practice makes perfect?
Sure.
I believe perfect practice makes perfect. So you cannot blindly be practicing something, you need to have the perfect circumstances.
Interesting. Well, we'll see how perfectly we play this Battle Royale. I hope some of you guys can come and join us. Throw up a YOLO if ya do. So we're just having a word with our admins. So I believe we'll get this Battle Royale started in just a few moments more. But Rokos, let me know. I bumped my microphone volume up. Maybe it was a bit too low before. Maybe it's better now. Let me know. Hopefully everything is just a case of tweaking some volumes. Let's go into the forts because we've got to get shot in the face real quick. Yep.
You can do it, Peter. I believe in you.
Oh man. It kind of sucks to pick up those ammo boxes where you don't actually have anything to get ammo for. Also, ammo boxes right next to weapons. It sucks because if you're not very careful, you run over the weapon and the ammo box at the same time, so you won't actually get the ammo when you pick up the weapon. Alright, so there should be a lot of people in here. We just need to go and acquaint ourselves with them. Hoo-hoo! Well, that didn't go well.
Is that what the young people call it nowadays when they shoot each other? Getting acquainted?
Well, at least we killed the person who killed us. Is that a success? Okay, so I think it might just be that my microphone was turned down a little bit too low, because I think I did adjust the volume on it a little bit recently, and I might have gone a bit over the top. Well, thank you, Rokos. I'm sorry, guys, if that's been a problem all stream. We didn't realise, but I'll make sure to look out for that in the future. All right. So, dealers, in your expert opinion,
yeah,
what went wrong in that game?
You died.
Sure.
Well, you didn't kill the person who killed you.
What? That's not true. Did you not see that mine I threw down which killed the person who killed me?
I did not.
For shame! For shame! Oh, actually, let's move this stuff around a bit. Here. There we go. I think that's a decent place for it. But yeah. Sometimes the fort can be a little bit troublesome. But hey, at least it's no airport. Right, guys? Right, guys?
I think you should drop at the airport.
I bet you do. I bet you do.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. We've got a few mixed up spawn points. Yeah, Roku, I've moved my microphone a bit closer to my mouth as well, so hopefully that'll be a bit better from coming from two different fronts. I've turned up the volume a bit, and it's also a bit closer to me face holes. Right. Oh, where did they go? I swear there was somebody here.
Are you hallucinating, Peter?
It might be. Speed boost, go! I'm seeing floating trees. Alright, Hero Gaming Assignment, thank you for the confirmation that our sound is okay. Please do, you know, if it goes off at all, please do let us know as soon as possible, because we want to get that fixed. Because sometimes things do get changed without us realizing, or at least notice. Oh man. Hello! That was a bit weird.
Are you winning, Peter?
Sort of? Oh gosh. I don't really know what's going on. Do they know that we're right behind them?
Well, now they certainly do. Are you gonna die to this guy?
Might be.
It would be embarrassing.
Well, prepared to be embarrassed. Wait. That was weird. I think that I don't know if we're just missing them a lot. I know from the very start of that whole fight, I was just like, whoa. Alright, we'll do one more. Then one more, then we'll pass it back to you guys. Because I like to survive for more than about like 2 minutes. Now, Dealers, when you see people like myself, and I guess everybody else in the games that you play,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're saying that a lot of the time you manage to find that tofu breakfast. What is it you feel like you're doing differently?
Wait, wasn't it a turkey dinner? The turkey the sandwich?
We're trying out different things.
Sure.
So if you want to get a tofu breakfast, like
I actually don't want to eat tofu for breakfast, so I'm gonna pass.
What? But it's the most delicious breakfast at all.
No. Mate, you are delusional.
Well, I mean, you could be right.
Well, I am right.
But what about what's left?
Well, I guess that would be you.
Oh no! Guys, I've been left behind.
Yeah. And you wonder why?
I often wonder why. Why? Why? So what? We'll drop at the airport just to make you happy.
Nice. Thank you.
Are you happy, Dealers? How happy are you?
Finally, you drop at the best place.
I don't know how much my accuracy is affected by squatting. Man, it's actually quite hard to hit someone over this kind of distance. I think I need to be a bit more even though I can auto-fire. Yeah, I think I need to stop. Like, the thing is, with an automatic weapon, I think like you can sort of lead your shots in, but the sniper rifle. Ooh, okay, well that worked right. But a lot of time with the sniper rifle, you're kind of throwing off your aim so badly. Yeah, that it doesn't work out that well. Alright, well, there we go. Airport drop, pretty much as expected. So, Dealers, what shall we do next? We haven't got up our last game as of yet. So we need a multiplayer game for the guys on stream. Achilles 707. So my understanding, and it's definitely not a confirmation by any means, because we are not developers, is that there will be a duo mode for the Battle Royale. But as to anything bigger than that, trios or 4-person squads, I'm afraid I don't know. I hope so, because I really enjoy playing the squad.
Well, Peter, I want you to make a pick this time around, because you always give me the choice. And I'm gonna pass it back to you.
Well, let's go for Rush. We haven't done Rush in absolutely friggin' ages. So the problem with Rush, of course, is that we kind of need to make sure we've got decent-sized teams in from the beginning, because otherwise we end up in a situation where the Rush mode is over too quickly, because it's used to be the tiebreaker for the tournaments, but I'm not actually sure exactly the specifics of why it was dropped out. Oh, thank you, Achilles. The sound is a few seconds behind the stream. It does sometimes happen. We'll probably need to restart everything to get that to stop happening. So we'll get you guys into this game, and maybe during the time between this game and the next, we'll restart everything and hopefully fix that problem. But now, come and join us, ESL123. Or the global chat invite will get you in. And you need to be quick, because we will probably be getting onto our finals pretty darn soon. Doc, welcome, welcome. Dealers, another question for you.
Okay. Hit me.
If you were a scarf, what kind of a scarf would you be?
What kind of question is that?
A pertinent question. Or possibly an impertinent one.
I have no clue. Probably like a tube scarf. I like. Yeah, that's the thing, right?
Let's have a look. Tube scarf. Oh, I mean, the first thing you get for a tube scarf is somebody who's wrapped entirely in a scarf. I'm assuming that's probably not the case most of the time, though. So, like a tube scarf is. Let's see. So that's like a kind of like a.
That's just like you have the regular scarf and then you've connected the two ends.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, those ones look pretty cool. Like, you see those quite a lot. Yeah.
Well, I enjoy wearing those kind of scarves.
I think it's something you see models wearing quite a lot, I think.
Maybe. I'm a model, so that's probably why.
Ah, which model are you?
Well, the best one.
This year's model.
The best one.
Next year's model.
Oh my god, Peter. I don't think anyone wants to play your game mode.
Oh no, it doesn't look like it, does it?
No.
This is the worst day. Doc, thank you for joining us. But yes, I think you're right. Well, we'll give it a couple more minutes. If not, I guess we'll just try with a more traditional game mode. Sadness. Sadness. Also, it's kind of late for a lot of European players. I know it's quite late for yourself.
Yep. It is about to reach 1 o'clock in the morning.
Alright, so let's jump out of here. Apparently we do not have any Rush aficionados. What we could do though is we could do a tier 1 team battle on conversion, because I don't play on that very often. So yep. Okay, so tier 1 weapons, tier 1 armor. Let's see. So I need to put it up somewhere that this is tier 1. I'll show you. How can we do that? I think I might need to make myself a new text. So give me a second. So in order to play tier 1 weapons and armor. So in order to play in this game, you'll need to have tier 1 weapons and armor, which I don't know if everyone's got set up already, but hopefully we can get some friendos to play with. I think because we've got a lot more of the ESL players joining in these custom games recently, I've been getting pretty hammered, even though I thought I started to get a little bit better. We'll see if we can find ourselves some friends. If not, we'll just jump out onto the Battle Royale battlefield again. But I hope you, gentle friends, all. Roko's Gameplays Gaming, do you have a tier 1 load up? Would you come and join us on the battlefield? I sure hope so. Perhaps we have become too ambitious in our designs. Perhaps there are no other tier 1 players in the world. Okay, I'll put up one more invite. If we don't get anybody, then we'll just go across to the Battle Royale instead. Ooh, hello. Ah! Well, I guess that's because it's officially midnight on that side of things. So I guess that particular league. Hope you guys have gotten yourselves something nice. Oh man. I should get myself one of these tube scarves. They look pretty cool. Alright. I think... Wait a sec. I'm just going to check to see if we've got ourselves a response. Alright. Well, let's go up against... Who against? Car. So, I'll throw out one more invite. Then we'll get going. Go on, Car, you and me. Let's get with the punching, though. I think we're about to get our pass key for the next game, so we'll just have to leave again. But Car, thank you for joining, irrespective of how things work out. Alright, it's you and me, Car. Scar? Roka, you're working so you can't join. Well, that's too bad. I think I chose a very poor map, actually, for 2 people. We need a much, much smaller map. Oh well. Do-it-up. Boot-up. Hello! Wait, what the heck? That is not a tier 1 weapon, friend. I think the tier 1 restrictions aren't working very well. Oh, there we go. At least Doc's got a tier 1 weapon. Alright, so we're going to have to love ya and leave ya because we've got a pass key for what could be our final game of the stream. Sorry about that, guys. But duty calls. So stay tuned. We will be back in just a second with the next and potentially final encounter between Roxas and Number 1. Stay tuned and we'll see you soon. It's time for Game 3 of our Grand Finals. Number 1 versus Roxas. Number 1 from Iraq. Look to take the 3-0. We had a little bit of a word with GG on the number 1 side, and they seem to believe this would be the final game. Deedless, I get the impression that you're of the same mind.
Yeah, I definitely think that number 1, they're gonna take down Roxas here in the final game. Roxas, even though they were able to, well, find a lot of kills in the early stages of the second game, number 1, they made their comeback, and I'm sure that number 1, they can do the same against Roxas if they need to do so.
Still all to play for. Roxas have the chance to stay in. If they can win all 3 next matches, they could become champions. We've seen number 1, they've won when they've had the advantage, they've won when they've been far behind. We'll have to see what it looks like when a game is even all the way through. GG coming to equalize that last exchange. It is very even in this game. Of course, we're on overtime, so we could see the commanders coming out. There's a lot of corridor fighting that goes forward. Of course, that DBS shotgun extremely effective at just dishing out enough punishment that it's very hard to react to.
And GG with 7 kills so far. One of the top fraggers I can imagine for number 1. Right there you can see on the scoreboard. Top fragger will be GG. Saras and Taco followed up by 3 kills of their own. Kiri and Ryusei on the side of Roxas, 5 and 3 kills. So it's looking fairly the same for these 2 teams in terms of the top fraggers and who are putting in the work.
Yeah, certainly, yeah, we remember from tournaments past, because we've seen a lot of these teams in recent times as, wow, a big resurgence from Roxas. They almost catch up on the Iraqi squad. GG continues to perform, but the rest of the team are getting picked off individually by the Roxas members.
Now, with a 5 kill lead, number 1, they're getting awfully close to winning this grand final in a 3-0 fashion. Roxas, even though they got back in the grand final, still aren't exactly the team winning, have fallen so far from grace.
GG will finally fall down, but yeah, Roxas getting further and further behind. We're seeing lots of floor bangs coming through, as I think Roxas are trying to weaken number 1 before that full frontal engage, which has just not worked out for the Roxas team so far. I think starting to get a little bit desperate now. Roxas are in the same situation that number 1 were before. Can the Roxas show that same kind of tenacity and not only recover much and bring themselves back into the series, but also keep that momentum going?
Roxas, they are indeed very, very far behind. Can they up the momentum kind of it? It is, well, an interesting, a good question. And I don't think Roxas, they're going to be able to do so. Number 1, they just trade 1 for 1 all the time. And that means that number 1, they keep themselves ahead.
If any of you guys watching here today would like to take part yourselves, do head across to the Modern Combat 5 ESL micro site. There you can find out all the details about upcoming tournaments, because number 1, I think, are so very close to putting this one completely in the ground. GG has been absolutely fantastic for the squad, and as we can see from the side of Roxas, while they've had a very solid overall team performance, they can't keep up with GG.
7 more kills, and then number 1, they are done with this game and the series. They are on championship point, but Roxas only 5 kills behind. Make that 4. They're not giving up, and they're not out yet.
Roxas, it may look like they're a long way behind, but they're nearly on 40 as well. One big team fight for Roxas could swing this. The pressure building up, the expectations for Roxas, while they may have diminished after the recent losses, we know Roxas are a team that are used to ruling the roost.
Roxas. Counterfeit finds a kill right there, 0 onto GG, but both of them finds a kill onto Rye. And number 1, they can, well, afford to trade kills right here. They are not in a hurry to find those big numbers anymore. As long as they trade 1 for 1 and 2 for 2, as long as they stay ahead against the Roxas, they are more than happy.
Oh no! Oh, this would be the worst time possible, but I think we might have had our game give up the ghost. Oh no! Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Oh, this is really anticlimactic, mate.
It is. We don't. Well, I guess we won't know until our admins receive word who it was who finally won out that game. We can only apologize. That is really unfortunate. I don't know what could have caused that to happen, but we will quickly run through and get you guys a game on stream to end out here, if we can. And then, let's see. Yes, we're making the assumption that number 1 probably won, but it's honestly a little tough to tell. We're waiting on Pap and Aviator featured. The teams will almost certainly let us know in the chats, but let's get you guys back out. We'll put you onto overtime in a team battle, and then perhaps we can use you as some kind of way of telling who would have won. I think that's how it works, right?
Sure. Sure. Why not?
So guys, ESL 1, 2, 3 is all you need. So we're not going to have tier 1 weapons and armor for this one. It's just going to be the old classic. Of course, if we do receive word of which of the 2 teams won, then we will pass that across to you guys. Yes, Hero Gaming Simon, sad face, shocked face. Not the way we wanted to see these finals end, but sometimes these kind of things happen on the battlefield. RIP. Let's see. Oh, we received word from a GG, one of the players. What are they saying? I'm trying to find out from them who won. But they're keeping me in suspense. They're keeping us in suspense. Okay.
Oh, no.
I had to get confirmation. Number 1 won the 3rd game, and so will become our champions today. Again, guys, sorry for the disappointing end to the stream. I would have loved to have seen that one end out as well. I'm sure Dealers and all of you guys would have. But, what can we do? Well, with that in mind, Dealers, I guess we are done here for this weekend. Thank you guys so much for dropping by and spending your weekend, valuable weekend time with us. If you'd like to see more of Deedless, you can find them at DeedlessCasts on Twitch and on Twitter. If you'd like to find more myself, I'm CounterfeitCast on Twitch, Twitter and YouTube. And if you haven't already, please do follow Modern Combat on Facebook, Twitch, Mobcrush, YouTube and Twitter, where you can find out when there are new updates coming out and all that good stuff. Thank you to our admins for today, Aviator featured, and Pap for making everything work today. And we'll see you guys next week with, I want to say, I believe it's going to be our PC tournament coming up next Saturday. So I know you guys have been missing PC and Android, but we will be back for there. Dealers, any final thoughts before we head into the night?
I'm just looking forward to showing the world how good I am at Battle Royales next weekend.
Ooh, I am excited to be part of it. Thank you guys for dropping by, and we'll see you again soon.